Masahiro Sakurai was in constant, sharp pain. He had developed severe tendinitis in his right shoulder, an injury so debilitating that he couldn't even manage the basic task of holding a standard computer mouse. Yet every single day after lunch, he pushed through that physical agony. He forced his hand to grip a controller and personally playtest 4-player matches of a colorful, cartoonish party game. To understand why, you have to look at the community divide following the release of Super Smash Bros. Brawl. A large portion of the player base favored the lightning-fast, highly competitive mechanics of the previous entry, Melee, but hardcore players felt Brawl abandoned them. They saw it as a sluggish, overly casual experience, a frustration compounded by the game's notoriously laggy online matches. The community was looking for a happy medium, a game that was accessible for a wide variety of people, but mechanically deep enough for high-level tournaments. Finding that elusive balance would require an immense amount of work, and that entire burden fell squarely on Sakurai, a man who walked away from Brawl feeling like his work on the franchise was already completely finished. The spark that forced Sakurai back into the director's chair came at E3 2011. Satoru Iwata, the president of Nintendo, walked onto the stage and delivered a massive surprise to the audience. A new Super Smash Bros. Game was officially in development. Iwata confirmed that Sora and Bandai Namco were building 2 distinct versions of the game simultaneously to work across different platforms. One version was being built for the Wii U, Nintendo's brand new home console, taking advantage of its increased processing power and high-definition output. At the exact same time, they had to compress that experience down to fit the strict hardware limitations of the handheld Nintendo 3DS, ensuring the 2 platforms could still interact with each other. They also needed to integrate Nintendo's new physical amiibo technology. Players could buy these figures at a store, scan them directly onto the Wii U gamepad, and generate a customized, levelable fighter in the game itself. Managing a massive fighting game roster is difficult enough on a single system. Overseeing 2 radically different hardware ecosystems simultaneously turned a difficult job into a logistical nightmare. To bridge the divide between casual and hardcore fans, Sakurai couldn't rely on broad strokes. He had to implement highly specific, granular design changes to the core fighting system. The base speed of the game was increased to bring back the snappy feel of Melee. At the same time, the widely hated random tripping mechanic, a feature from Brawl that caused characters to slip and fall by chance, was entirely removed. Sakurai demanded absolute control over this balancing process. To eliminate any commute and maximize his hours at the desk, he actually rented a home in Tokyo within walking distance of the development studio. But staying immersed in this high-pressure environment took a severe toll. Endless hours gripping controllers and moving mice caused his tendinitis to rapidly worsen. Despite the shooting pain radiating down his arm, his daily routine never wavered. Every afternoon, without fail, he sat down after lunch to personally play exhausting 4-player test matches. Spreadsheets and data can only tell a developer so much. Actually holding the controller and feeling the precise timing of every single punch, kick, and recovery was the absolute only way Sakurai could ensure no individual fighter was overpowering the rest. The roster was becoming the most tightly tuned in the franchise's history, but the effort required to balance dozens of fighters across 2 systems was being subsidized directly by the director's physical health. All of that pain finally paid off. In late 2014, the 3DS version released to critical acclaim, selling over 3 million copies in a matter of weeks. A month later, the Wii U version hit shelves and became the console's fastest-selling game. The final product delivered exactly what the community had begged for: the largest roster in Nintendo history, functional online multiplayer, and chaotic 8-player local matches. But the creator was left in a much darker state. Masahiro Sakurai was only 28 years old when he built the original Smash Bros. Now, at 44, he was left managing chronic, permanent tendinitis in his right arm. In interviews following the release, he was incredibly candid with his fans. He stated that for the sake of his own physical health, he simply didn't believe he had another sequel in him. Sakurai's physical condition was a stark reminder of the toll this level of oversight required. He pushed his body to the limit to deliver on a promise made 3 years earlier. While the fourth entry in the series is remembered for finally bridging the gap between casual play and technical competition, its legacy is inseparable from the physical cost its creator paid to get it there.